In this video, we will automate the process of picking 5 random transactions for each users. We have a transaction data and each users have around 45 to 50 transactions, out of which we will pick up 5 random transactions for our audit purpose. We normally have a auditor in our organization who audit transactions for quality purposes, and they have to randomly pick up a transactions. And if we can automate the process, it will help them ease the day-to-day task. So let's get back to the Excel. We have here first task detail, and then this is where we will have our final output. And then we have transaction data set, and then the user data. On the transaction data set, we have transaction ID, date of transaction, user ID, and notes left by the user. And on a user, we have user ID and username and other details that we're not concerned about. For the task detail, you can read here. I will put up the download link for the same file in the description. You can go there and download the file and follow along if you want to try it out. It has provided the details of the task that needs to be done. In short, what we need to do is, let's, for example, pick up these transaction. This user has around 45 transactions, out of which we have to pick up 5 random samples somewhere in between. And for that, what we will do is we will use a formula that is random array, and it's asking for rows. Let's say I want to create 1 rows and 5 columns, that is 5 random numbers. Minimum is 1, maximum is 45. That is for this particular user ID. So our task is to find out maximum number of transactions for each user ID. That's we're gonna do in a later stage. So for now, let's we want integer as a output. We don't want decimal numbers. Once done, it will generate 5 random numbers. You can see 5 random numbers have been generated. Next, what we will do is we will just pick up label each transaction serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, numbers are changing, so we have to value paste once we generate random array. Otherwise, it will just keep on changing. We need to take care of that while doing so. And once we have a random number generated between the minimum transaction number, that is 1, and maximum transaction number, that is different for each user ID. For this particular user ID, it will be 45. And we will label each transaction with serial number 1, 2, 3 for each user ID. Each user ID has 1 to the maximum number of transactions it has, labeled by 1, 2, 3 from smaller to larger. And then we will pick up, for example, we have 4 here and 4 here. We will match up these and select this transaction, and next we will select 22 number transaction and 37, 35, 40. Similarly, we do similar for all users. So we are not going to do manually. We're going to use the formula in this video. In the next video, I will use the same algorithm in the Power Query to do the same thing in a fully automated way. It's going to be a little bit of manual task, but it's still not fully manual. So let's start. First thing we need to do, we need to find out minimum and maximum against each user ID. So we have here user detail. If we are working on some real data set and you don't have a user detail, what you can do, you can just pick up this data set and copy here and remove duplicates. Unique user ID, have the unique user ID, and then you can start working towards that. So for this, let's just say minimum. For us, minimum is going to be same number, that is going to be 1, no change at all. It's minimum for everyone. Max number will be, let's just use countif function. Countif, now it's looking for a range. So for this, range will be user ID column, and criteria will be our user ID here. And close the bracket, enter. We have max for, let's just copy with the same formula. We have, let's put up the border. We have max number for each user ID. It's what max is, it's the total number of transactions in our transaction data set. Now we have this done. What we do, we will generate array array. So let's just use this random array function. Just so you know, this random array function works only in Excel 2021 and above. If you are using older version of Excel, it might not work. It should work on Excel 365 environment. If not, we have another way to do it in a Power Query. Stay tuned for that. I will be uploading new video soon, and if it's already uploaded, you can see in a description as well. Random array for rows, I'm gonna go with a 1, and for columns it will be 5. For minimum, I'm go with this minimum, and for max I have max, and I will need a results as an integer. Press enter. I want 5 array generated. For now, let's let it as it is. I have these array generated. Let's put up all brackets here. Once we are done, I know we want to have it automated, but for now we have to freeze it out. Let's just do one more thing. Let's just put up it's inside a unique, so that it's more, if any duplicate has been reduced, it's better to have less numbers that we can see here. Unique numbers. If you put unique, there's sometimes there will be all values go down, so you need to do certain things. Done. It's done now. We have all the values here, and this is array generated. We go back to transaction, and now we need to map up those numbers, find out those numbers. Let's just say here sampled. Yes, here let's first get that array here by using XLOOKUP. We're gonna use XLOOKUP function. You can use index as well, but I'm gonna go with XLOOKUP for now. Lookup value is this on the user. This is my lookup array, and return array. I'm gonna pick up these 4 columns. Now I have the same results returned here. I think I need to be a little bit careful about what I'm doing. Now it's taking a little bit time. So now I have numbers generated. Let's just remove these numbers. We're not done with the formula just yet. So what we need to do, I think I forgot one more thing before this. We need to serialize each transaction. We need serial number against each transaction, that is running count. How can we do that? We can simply do this equal to count. We're gonna pick up this cell, comma, again this same cell, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna lock first cell and keep the second range from on the range after the column. We can keep it as it is. So what it will do, if we just drag it down, let's just say if I ever drag it down here, first cell will remain same, second will be increased, so that means the range is increasing in every single place. Instead of count, it should be count if. Just made a mistake. We need to have a count if function. So now it's counting of each transaction. Let's just copy it down below. So we have here 1. Let's just filter out one more user ID. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have those serial numbers generated here as we planned in the earlier. Now get back here. So we have numbers 20, 17, 16, 12 and 4. So we need to match these numbers somewhere here. So as we can see, our output is in a single row. So for this case, we're going to use a HLOOKUP to match this. And in HLOOKUP, we will use this array as our table array. So we're going to wrap this up in a HLOOKUP. For the lookup value, that will be this number here, because we're going to find out this number in this newly generated array. And then our table array will be this one. And for the row index number, we have only one row, so it will be 1. And for the output, we're going to pick up a false. We're going to need exact match. Press enter. So we're gonna have NA here. I think that's absolutely fine. We're not gonna worry about NA. For NA, we can put if error. So wherever there is a error, we can have not selected, enter. So we're gonna go to the end and paste values. So we can see there are some numbers populated. So what we need, we just go down below, scroll to the end, remove not selected, and what we are left with are all the transactions that we have selected as our random sample for our random sampling. Just copy, go to the random sample, go column width. I just like to pick up column width so that it's in a proper format. I'm going to pick up format as well, values. Now all sample are selected. Let's just filter out first user, sorted here. So we can see these user, we have 5 transactions, that is 11, 13, 17, 25, 34. So if we go here and filter out the same user, this is the first user ID, so you can see 11, 17, 20, 13, 25, 34. It's the same one. Its order is different, but it's the same dataset that has been picked up as a random sampling. For this video, this is all. I will create one more video fully automated in the Power Query